What's up guys, Juan here from Android Authority, and we're taking a look at the Nubia Z11. This is Nubia's latest smartphone, which has actually been available in China for a while now, but they're planning to bring it to other markets, including the US, which is why they're announcing it here at IFA 2016. The one we're taking a look at is the all silver model, but it also comes in a two-tone black and gold color that looks a little bit nicer and also comes with slightly better specs. It has an all-metal build that feels really sturdy and puts the build quality on par with a lot of other flagships that we've seen on the market, but Nubia says the three main highlights that make this phone stand out is the display, camera, and battery life. It's got a 5.5-inch LCD display, but unlike most flagships this year, it has a 1080p display instead of Quad HD, but it still looks pretty good with plenty of sharpness and vibrant colors. The most eye-catching part about this screen is that it has virtually no bezels on the left and right sides, and when you look at it head-on, it looks like the screen runs completely edge to edge. We've seen this before on previous Nubia devices, but it's still really impressive to look at, and it makes you feel like you're literally holding nothing but a screen in your hands. The fact that the side bezels are so thin also makes this phone feel a lot more compact than other phones with a 5.5-inch screen. There's a 16 megapixel camera on the back with optical image stabilization and phase detection autofocus, and it sounds like your typical standard smartphone camera when looking at it on paper, but Nubia made a pretty big deal about all the various different camera modes on the Z11 that make it unique. For example, there's a clone mode that will overlap several images on top of each other to make it appear as if there's multiples of the same person or object. It's a pretty old trick that can be done manually with a DSLR and some editing in post, but the Z11 does it all automatically, and it's not perfect, but it does a pretty decent job of stitching all the photos together, even if you're just using your hands to stabilize the camera. Another interesting mode on the Z11 is called electronic aperture, which lets you dial in the aperture from anywhere between f2.8 to f44, and it's not a true aperture change obviously, but the purpose of this mode is to let you alter how much motion blur you get in the background while still keeping everything in the foreground in focus, and it's a pretty neat feature, but depending on the aperture you pick, this will also affect the shutter speed, so you'll need to keep a very steady hand if you're looking for those extremely blurred out backgrounds. There's a 3000 milliamp hour battery inside, which is a fairly average size for a 2016 smartphone, but Nubia says they've done a lot of battery optimizations to make the phone last longer than other smartphones with the same capacity, and it also has built-in support for Quick Charge 3.0 to make it really easy to fill up. The rest of the specs are pretty typical of what you would find in a lot of flagships that came out this year. There's a Snapdragon 820 with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage, and if you opt for the black and gold version, this will come with 6GB of RAM and double the internal storage at 128GB. There's also a micro SD card slot located on the left side of the phone if you're looking to add even more storage. Going around the Z11, you'll find the power and volume keys on the left side, a headphone jack and IR blaster on top, and along the bottom is a USB Type-C port flanked by what looks like stereo speakers, but it's actually just a single speaker and a microphone. The Z11 also has a fingerprint sensor on the back, but aside from providing additional security, it also functions as a shortcut for taking a screenshot, a long screenshot, or a screen recording by long pressing on it. The software is Android Marshmallow with Nubia's own custom skin, and it's not the nicest or most appealing looking skin, but it does come with some really interesting features that take advantage of the super thin side bezels. You can swipe up and down with two fingers along both edges to adjust the screen's brightness, swipe inwards to skip to any home screen, or swipe up and down along either edge to quickly switch between any apps that you have running in the background, and you can even swipe rapidly along the edges to clear all the apps out of memory. The Z11 will be available in Europe starting at 499 euros, but we don't know the exact details just yet on when it will be coming to the States or how much it's going to cost, but overall it's a solid smartphone from Nubia that's very comparable to a lot of other flagships on the market. We'll definitely keep you posted on pricing and availability as we find out more about the Nubia Z11 on AndroidAuthority.com, but let us know your thoughts on the Nubia Z11 down in the comments below, and keep it tuned here to Android Authority because there's a lot more to come from IFA 2016 here in Berlin.